Hey, everybody, what's happening? You're happy, right? You're excited, right? I think the whole country is because it snowed. We'd been waiting and waiting. And here it came in big into California. They're telling me 140 inches over the last 7 days or so. Uh, Amazing. Down in Utah, 48 inches in the last 5, 6 days. Up here in Big Sky, I'm finally in the SkiTalk studio once again. We've got 10 inches of fresh. Everybody's happy. They're smiling. They're fired up. And why not? Because we live for the white stuff. Hey, I'm East Coasters. Got to hang in there. I hear there's a storm heading your way tonight, maybe tomorrow. I know it's a little warm, but that's not the worst thing to happen right prior to a storm coming in. So there's snow out there and everybody's happy. And of course, there's so much going on as always in the ski industry. Since the World Cup ran through Killington, it went up there to up to Lake Louise. The men were racing in Beaver Creek, and now they're all over in Europe, ripping it up. Michaela's got a couple of podiums. All is right with the world, right? We're feeling good, and it's the Christmas holidays. We're coming into it, so it's just so much happening. I'm loving it. I'm Dan Egan. This is SkiTalk. We're all things snow. If it comes to gliding, riding, hopping on, over, and through snow, yeah, we talk about it right here. And for those of you who follow all that is SkiTalk at skitalk.com, there's always conversations about not only technique, but equipment, and you get all your latest information right there. And the man who makes all that happen is Phil Paglici. Phil.
Dan, how you doing, man?
Did you actually choke on it? How deep was it? Where were you? Fill us in. We got to know.
Well, I was up at Mount Rose today. I mean, they reported 100 to 130 inches. Palisades, Tahoe reported over 6 feet. Mammoth over 5 feet. So, I mean, we got hit, and we got hit hard out here. I mean, it is just fantastic. We went from famine to complete feast. It is just incredible. And what's best is this snow came in the best that it could this time of year. Heavy at first, and we just got a really good base that is really going to hold us through the next month or so. And we got more snow coming. They're calling for another 5 to 7 feet by Christmas.
This is old world Tahoe. This used to happen all the time. Are we in danger of having too much snow? Are they handling it okay?
They're doing a good job again. Everybody's a little short staffed right now, so they're getting done what they can.
Everybody's skiing. Of course, nobody wants to work. They're all out skiing.
Exactly. So, I mean, that's kind of the catch-22 there. But we are getting people up on the hill. The road crew, NDOT out here did a really good job of opening Mount Rose Highway. There was some avalanche situations there. And as far as the other resorts, they're doing a good job of getting people to the hill. Palisades opened up with just the front part of the mountain with Red Dog and Squaw Creek, and now they're going to open up the rest of the mountain in stages to make sure it's safe for everybody.
I love it. I got a call yesterday from my nephew. He was in Bozeman heading to Utah because he had a connection to get early ups at Alta, and he said Alta's skiing unbelievable. I'm hearing great things from Snowbird, and I was watching a Plake video online where his whole camper got snowed in. They really got hammered down in Mammoth.
Yeah, we did it. And this came in, it started over the weekend. And like I said, we're expecting this to go into next week. We have a little bit of a lull right now. So we got a little bit of a breather to get stuff packed down on the hill. But everything is just skiing fantastic out here. It is midwinter conditions.
Midwinter conditions with just about the same amount of snow in that one storm that they had almost all of last year.
That's what it feels like. I mean, we still get our hundreds of inches out here, but this is a really good base, and it's a good start for the year.
Well, let's cross our fingers. We all need a good holiday week coming in here to the Christmas holidays and, of course, New Year's. So people will be excited. Drive safe out there and chain up. Put the chains on. You got chains? What are you doing?
4 snow tires. So all-wheel drive with 4 snows. And, again, growing up in the East, I'm comfortable driving in the snow, and it's pretty good out here. So we're set up properly as far as our vehicles. The SS SkiTalk is out there ready to roam.
The SS SkiTalk. We'll look for that coming to a ski area near you. All fired up about that. And of course, also joining us tonight is Jared Finley from Cep Compression. And this is, something we need to talk about, get up to speed on, because these new underlayers, these compression underlayers, are really making a big difference. You use them, Phil?
Absolutely. Again, base layers in your preparation for skiing, they do a tremendous job of wicking away the perspiration to keep you dry, and a dry body is a warm body. But their compression design and how it really retains the heat and controls the muscle mass really does a great job as far as enhancing performance and the efficiency in the day. And quite frankly, it's good for probably a run to 2 a day. Did we lose Dan?
Absolutely. And nice, an extra run or two.
Yeah.
You mean your skiing buzzer to buzzer?
I'm sorry, what?
Okay, that's all I want to know. So I think you're skiing buzzer to buzzer all the way to 4 o'clock. Come on. Are you?
I'd love to. I don't have the time. I mean, I got to get back on the computer. I got stuff to do here at home. I got to work too.
We're busy.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
And these
so
I think
is Jared.
There's Jared.
I think Jared's camera shot. Oh no, here he is. We got him, I think. Okay, hold on.
Jared, hey Dan, how you doing? Phil, great. Thanks for having me on.
We're super excited to have you. You know, this is something that I think really needs a lot of conversation around, because sometimes, you know, people are just throwing sweatpants on, cotton, you know, they're going out there and they're not really thinking about the benefits of a nice underlayer to make all the difference from a performance standpoint. Just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, totally agree. And so forever, boot fitting has been about insole, boot fit, you know, really dialing it in, but missing, I think, a key aspect, which is what we're putting on our foot in the boot. You know, socks have always been an accessory versus a hard good. And I think we need to start thinking about socks more as a hard good, as a requirement as we go through that precision boot fit process. The biggest benefit of a compression product I see in the ski world is that it actively controls swelling. So when I talk to people, I always ask them, like, raise your hand if you ever had to undo your buckles halfway through the day because your toes go to sleep. And 90% of people raise their hand. And that's because they have no control over the swelling that occurs on their foot through a myriad of different reasons: dehydration, you know, being locked into a hard boot for the first time, you know, or a foot that's not used to it for somebody that doesn't ski, you know, every day, like some of the ski instructors and National Ski Patrol that we sponsor. And they really embrace the product because it, like you said, it can make a huge difference between making it bell to bell versus having to turn in early.
Yeah, you're speaking right to me. I always say, you know, don't overbuckle your boots, particularly early in the day. You need some blood flow down there. And so if these socks are going to control the swelling of the feet, that's just going to make for a much more enjoyable morning and a longer day.
Yeah. The other thing is a lot of people. So I'm from Michigan, where, you know, we're pretty flat and we're not very high up. And so going out to high altitude can really kind of mess with me as far as just acclimating quickly. And so having a compression product in my ski boot is the difference between, you know, maybe skiing 5 days in a row and maybe taking a breather or a half day in between there just to let my body recover. So for someone that's, you know, going out and doing a trip, you know, compression is a great way to really maximize your ski time.
Hey, you know, if you all those iconers and epic passes out there, you might as well take more advantage of it and stay out on the hill longer with the CEP compression products, no doubt about it. There's so much happening, as we know, in the world of ski and ski racing. I'm a huge fan of the World Pro Ski Tour. I'm so excited that when it first came back a few years back, but then when Mr. Jon Franklin got involved with it, I think it was rocket fuel for everyone who loved pro skiing. And our guest tonight is Jon Franklin, the man behind so much in skiing, but right now, currently.
Hey, Dan, thanks so much. Phil.
This weekend in Granby, Colorado. Hey, Jon, how are you?
Dan, great. Thanks for having me on. Phil, good to see you. Jared, a pleasure to meet. Yeah, I like the way you said rocket fuel to the tour, because one of the big pieces of news this year is our new sponsor, Rocket Mortgage. So this year, the World Pro Ski Tour is presented by Rocket Mortgage. But not only Rocket, we've got other big brands involved like Seiko and Tough Shed and Revo Eyewear. Revo has a long history in pro racing, being a former sponsor of Phil and Steve Mayer, who raced on the Pro Tour in the late 80s before it took a little break and then, came back 4 or 5 years ago. So we're super excited to open our season in Granby Ranch. We've got a great cast of racers coming. Actually, most of them are already here training. Former Olympians like Nolan Casper and Michael Ankeny, and racers all the way over from Austria by way of Bolivia, who's going to join us tonight, Simone Kammerlander, and a whole cast of characters out there vying for those that first place and the big check on the podium.
It's pro skiing is all about the big check, and of course that means big sponsors. Rocket Mortgage as a title sponsor. This is a breath of fresh air for everybody who loves ski racing here in America, particularly pro skiing. It's not an easy task. How'd you do it, John? Where'd you arm wrestle him? Would you take him heli skiing?
No, I think we showed him what we can deliver. We're live on Flow Sports every show, so we've got 11 races this year live on Flow Sports. We've got follow-up shows right prime time on CBS Sports Network. And we've got our award-winning docuseries that airs on Outside Television, NBC Regional Sports Networks, Untamed Sports, AT&T Sports, Amazon Prime. So we're really delivering the exposure numbers for these sponsors. And as a result, we can show them what we're doing. In addition, we've got the great racers that I just mentioned, guys like Nolan Casper, Michael Ankeny, Simone. We've got our 2-time champion, Robert Cohn, who's won 7 out of the last 8 races. So it's been really exciting competition, best racers in the world, photo finishes. And with that, companies do want to get involved, and we can show them what we do. Rocket Mortgage obviously is a mainstream sports sponsor in America. They sponsor the Super Bowl, the NCAA, Indy cars. They are, a big supporter of racing and sports in America. So we're honored that they chose to work with us this year and get us going, help us kick off some more prize money. And they were super excited about getting the women involved. So not only do we have our 8 open races, but we're doing 3 races for women. So we've got some equal prize money on the podium for women this year. So, we've upped our schedule to 11 races in places like Granby, Aspen, Taos, Steamboat. So a full schedule of racing on some of the best television networks in the world.
Absolutely. And we want to talk a lot more about all of those topics, but really just a big thumbs up to you and everybody behind the scenes to make it happen for the skiers, because without the money, without the sponsors, it doesn't happen. I think building the distribution as you have built it, really, as we all know, that's what people want. People want to see it. And now people can see what arguably is the most exciting ski racing on the planet, don't you think?
I think so. I mean, I'm right there with you. You're speaking to the choir. Love the Pro Tour. Love being able to see who actually wins the race. When you watch a FIS race, an Olympic race, a World Cup race, I defy anyone to be able to tell who won the race without looking at the clock. And in pro ski racing, it's head to head. So the photo finishes can be very close, down to thousandths of a second, but you can actually see who wins the race. And that's what makes it exciting.
I love that. And of course, our featured guest tonight is one of the top pros on the tour from Austria, skiing for the country of Bolivia, is Simone Camalarder. And Simone is sitting there in Granby getting ready to go for the big money this weekend. And how you doing, Simone?
Hey, everybody. I'm doing great. I like it here in Granby.
Great.
I mean, it's an amazing place. Very exciting for the race.
What's the pitch of the hill? What's it like?
It's like a little steep on the start and then very flat. So it's going to be a sprint race, drag race.
I don't know if I'd compare it to Adelboden, but it starts out steep, goes flat, and then it's got a little pitch at the end. And we've got a couple of pro jumps that they're just building. So, it should be an amazing race.
Absolutely, head to head. Simone, how many years on the tour for you?
That's the third season now.
Wow. Okay, that's great. And tell us about racing for Bolivia. We don't have not necessarily the hub of ski racing. How did it come about that an Austrian found himself racing for the Bolivian flag?
That's very interesting. I mean, that's like when an Austrian ends up in the city of La Paz in Bolivia and gets in contact with the ski federation on a street festival. And I mean, it's like a movie, but that's how it was. And from that point on, we started to focus on this project to represent Bolivia on international ski races.
That's great. And for you, no conflicts there with, coming from sort of the cradle of skiing, Austria, the sort of the known for their ski races. You didn't. What was it like to to race for a different country? Did we lose him? The connection from Bolivia is not so good, John.
Yeah, he's coming back. Well, as John, you said, it's a long way to bounce around from Austria to Bolivia and then back to Granby Ranch, Colorado. So that's short for the internet signal.
So, John, did he say how long has Simon been on the tour?
I think 3 years. He was Rookie of the Year the first year he raced, and he's had a lot of top fours. Hasn't won a race yet, but he has certainly, been in the hunt. And it's, as you said, he's from the cradle of ski racing. So, he grew up Austrian Federation racing, and then now skiing in the Olympics for Bolivia. And he's a great pro because he's going to go over. He's going to go to Beijing. He's going to do the Olympics at the beginning of the week, and then he's going to come back to Steamboat Springs, Colorado, and finish up that week, racing for us while the Olympics are still going on. So he may be the only guy that's going to come straight from China and jump into the start gate at a pro race.
Well, those skiers that are just knocking on the gate, knocking on the door in position 3, 4, 5, they're the most dangerous because they're studying the ruts and they're getting ready to break through. So Simon, it's nice to have you back. I just wanted to get a feeling for you, what it was like to sort of switch from being an Austrian to a Bolivian in ski racing. You must have a ton of friends on the circuit, both internationally and here on the Pro Tour. What's it like? Simon?
Sorry, can you repeat, please? I didn't hear you. The connection was lost again.
What's it like for you not racing for Austria?
I mean, ski racing, it's an individual sport. So finally, it doesn't really matter which nation stays behind you. You have to show what you can do by yourself, and everybody who knows us know how hard we work. And all the FIS races, World Cup races, Olympics we did. And I mean, racing now at the World Pro Ski Tour, it's just amazing, because I think that's the only real and fair ski racing at the moment.
Well, it's interesting. We just, my other role is as CEO of Ski Racing Media, which is sort of the Bible of ski racing. It's been around since the 1960s. And we just did an article that we called Pointless Ski Racing. And everybody said, what, ski racing's pointless? I go, no, it's the World Pro Ski Tour is pointless. You get in there and you race on your merits. You don't have, you're not starting 85th because you have this many points, or you can't get into that race because you don't have that many points. And all these racers run around the world chasing points to lower their points to get better start positions. But in the Pro Tour, you're on your own. Simone has won speed runs on the Pro Tour, fastest guy out there in qualifying. And hey, he gets to, get that seating spot that he deserves because he's the fastest guy in qualifying. And then it's up to him to continue to perform all day long. You race against a guy, it's single elimination. If you beat him, you go back to the start and you race again. So it's great for our fans. They see the top racers multiple times instead of just one run or two runs. And it's great for the racers because they have multiple chances to advance and win that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So, lots of Rocky Balboa stories here. Guys like Simone, who, had to duke it out in the Austrian Ski Federation, can come and show they're among the best of the world with guys like Nolan Casper and Michael Ankeny. So it's a great format.
That is a breath of fresh air. There's no doubt about it, because winning matters, right? And sometimes people are racing just for points, not for winning. I think so. I think that's fascinating. And so we have a little promo on the World Pro Ski Tour. We're going to show that now.
Red course ready. Yep.
So, I mean, you get a feel for it there. Now, just John, talk us through the starts, because the horse gates are different. And I don't think a lot of people understand what's happening there with the starts.
I'll let Simone do that because he's the guy that's actually in the start. So I just watch guys like him explode out of the start. And as I said, he's got one of the fastest starts on the tour. So
yeah,
Simone, take us through the start.
The start of the Pro Tour, I mean, that's probably the most exciting thing on the whole race. I mean, of course, the jumps and the fans in the finish, they're great, but the start is where the race can be, where you can win or lose a race, And that's a point which made me very nervous at the first races because I wasn't used to it. These huge metal start horse doors, gates. I mean, if you're too early, you crash into them and probably you're going to break some ribs. So that whole start ritual needs to be on point. And I mean, yeah, that's unique on the Pro Tour.
One of the things we're going to do this year, actually, is with our new sponsor, Seiko, is we're going to do the fastest start. So we've got a timer that's going to be somewhere between the start and the first gate. And we're going to be able to actually time who gets out of the starting gate the fastest, because the gates open at the same time. There's a drag race style light that counts down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it goes red and then goes green. The gates open. And as Simone said, if you time it wrong, you'll smash into the gate and slow yourself down. If you time it right, you're going out the gate right as it opens. And we're going to be able to see now and put on television who actually has the fastest starts out of the gate.
I think that's awesome. So Simone, when your ski tips are up, you're cranked up on the pole. Are you trying to use the momentum of the tail? Are you trying to like bend the ski or just get leverage going forward?
Yeah, that's just, I felt like, it's a timing of movement, bending up the skis and going out with the whole weight, body weight, and using the energy from the tails of the skis. I mean, the only thing there, it's like the timing, I mean, if you're in a start gate, it feels that the lights, the countdown goes down so slowly. And as a racer, you won't go out. So it doesn't matter if the door is open or not. So that's the thing where you have to be like quiet and just wait for the right moment and then let it go.
Oh man, I love it. So much going on there. So now, Jared, I understand, the idea of the product, the idea of reducing swelling, blood flow, right, performance. And is it just socks you're making, or is it more?
So CP has been around for 15 years, and we really started with socks. And so over the last couple of years, we're really kind of transitioning to like an activating sportswear company. So we have our whole line of ski socks. We've started adding on kind of critical pieces for the wardrobe of a lot of athletes. But in this case, skiers, we have compression 3/4, and then we have some new ski touring product, which is great for touring and frontside skiing. That's a little less tight, really more focused on range of movement. moisture management, comfort, feel, and durability. Those are all kind of the benchmarks of any CEP product. But everything we make is 3/4, and it's designed to meet up with the sock. Don't put any extra fabric into the boot. You don't have to roll anything, and then it gives you kind of a toes to hips compression profile that really helps keep your legs feeling fresh. And again, your toes warm and your feet fitting in the boot, the same way from the first turn to the last is really the goal.
I imagine on something like the Pro Tour where they're skiing repetitively, going right back up, this is crucial for the athletes to be prepared in this way.
Yeah, and that's one area we have a lot of really kind of impressive running ambassadors. And as we continue to grow into the ski space, we're definitely going to be looking at ski athletes to get our product on. Obviously, number one, it's great exposure, but just to get feedback, because the people that are really pushing it to their limits are the ones that can help us, just get better and better with every rendition.
Well, for those of you who watch the show regularly, we know we usually tell the athletes, Simone, this is the time you ask for your sponsorship.
I'm going to beat him to it.
Great. I mean, yeah, I know.
It's a race. I'm going to race Simone to the proposal to Jared for the tour for the athlete.
Well,
You can start us out of the gate right at the same moment and see who can reach him first.
Yeah. I mean, Cep is a great company. I've known them from the socks for many years.
Oh, he's in the lead now.
I think it's so interesting to see the difference, wearing Cep, especially the pants and the upper body shirts, which supports the body. I think you can move faster, and a very important point, the regeneration in between the runs.
Absolutely. And Jared, you gave us a video to watch, right? We have a video on
yeah, this is going to be our brand video.
All right, let's roll that. Yeah, it all makes sense to me. I think the timing for athletes to keep fresh, it's as important as hydration. And I like the fact that earlier, Jared, you compared it to the importance of a footbed. Phil, you're of course a boot fitter. You recommending socks to the people you're getting tuned up and ready to rumble?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's where we start. We work from the inside out, from the foot out. So, I mean, having somebody set up properly with the best sock for their foot that's where we need to start. And the sock is being a base layer from your foot. You want to wick away that perspiration and keep it dry. And as Jared points out, it's the blood flow that really makes a difference. One of the biggest concerns we have somebody coming in on the footbed, it's cold feet. And a lot of times it's could be an ill-fitting boot, but it could be something simple as a sock. And the first question is, what sock are you using? Have you considered a compression sock? So that's how that conversation gets started. And it is an education process.
I think, here what we're talking about in conditioning, and particularly on the World Pro Ski Tour, where, it's a sprint, right? Like it's a sprint. And how do you think, how do the athletes, Simone, how do you train differently for, a World Cup GS versus a pro race, to get the pacing of that down versus the sort of the duration of a longer race?
I mean, it's a huge part of the training. That's totally different sport almost. Going in a pro race down 20 to 30 seconds, and that's over 10 to 12 runs, or just 2 single runs down at World Cups or like FS races. So you have to build up the training like for completely separated from both different disciplines. And I mean, yeah, that's a huge program we have to do, but that's the only way, the only like system that works.
Is there any slipping of the course in pro racing?
Normally, not that much.
In
So
which you,
depends on the slope. The slope gets rough, and that's where you have to change the system, in between racing. So every run can be different. So you have to train every possible situation to pick up then what you're going to need at the race.
One of the things, again, it's fair about pro racing, since the guys are racing at the same time, head to head, they're on the same course. The courses have been run the same number of times by the same people, as opposed to, starting 80th in a fifth slalom, where you've got a completely different course than the guys who started in the first 10. So now the guy next to you that you're racing against is on a similar course that you're on. So it doesn't matter how early in the race you go or how late, the guy you're racing against is in the same situation as you.
So, but John, are you intentionally not slipping?
No, we slip. I mean, we slip. Yeah.
But not in the same, not with the same.
Yeah. But the point is, whatever we do in course prep, it's the same for both guys at the same time.
Yeah.
And then the good thing is we have to race one time red, one time blue. So we're gonna switch the courses, and then you see who is the fastest, and not like it was in some FIS races where they tried to do some parallel. They just went down one course and that's it. I mean, that's really at the Pro Tour the fairest ski racing and the purest sport I know.
I would agree with it. It's action packed. It's so much fun. And of course, bringing the women back, that's huge news, John. Tell us how that's going to work. How many races are the women going to have? What do we expect for the winnings, and how many women are interested?
Well, it's sort of interesting, because if you recall, Lindsey Vonn was always saying, oh, she wished she could race the men. And on our tour, she can. I mean, the races are open races. If she wants to come and qualify, that would be great. We've had women try and qualify. And in fact, in Eldora last year, if Ted Ligety hadn't showed up, we would have had a woman in, because we start with a round of 32. And Ted was there, and we had a woman that finished 33rd in qualifying. So, she got knocked out by two-time Olympic gold medalist Ted Ligety. But so women are welcome to race against the guys. So our races are open. But this year, with the support of Rocket Mortgage, we're going to do 3 women's races only, in addition to our 8 men's races. So it was something Rocket wanted to do. We want to get the women out there, and they'll be on the same courses as the guys. In fact, they'll just interrelate. So the guys will go, and then the women will go. So, a fan in the audience will be able to see both and compare and see how everyone's doing. So that'll.
Oh, it's not going to be a girls' heat all the way to the finish. You're going to run.
We're gonna run them in, because when our racers go back to the top, they race. Then, as Simone said, they have to go back and switch courses and race again. So we have some time in there. So we're just going to run the women then. So things are going to move really, really fast as you get into the round of 8 and the round of 4 between the women and the guys. And then that same $10,000 first place is going to be at stake for the women. So with that said, we've got a bunch of women who have already registered and signed up and say they want to compete. World Cup racers and ex-World Cup racers. Forrest Peterson from I think she's from Colorado, or she's from the East. Tahoe, yeah. So we've got women that have won FIS races. We've got women that have competed on the World Cup tour, And everybody is we're waiting to see who shows up in Aspen. But it's been a lot of interest and a lot of exposure getting the women back out there with their own tour. I don't think there's been a women tour since the 90s. So
1998. The and women, you seeing college racers for sure?
For sure, NCAA racers are welcome to race. They can use the money to go towards their training to keep them going. So the eligibility issues have passed by the wayside. That was part of the whole reason why the Pro Tour came back, is that national federations were allowing guys to race pro. Parallel racing, as Simone said, is in the Olympics for the first time in Beijing. When the U.S. ski team hosted their national parallel championships 2 years ago, it was 3 guys from the World Pro Ski Tour that were on the podium there. So guys like Garrett Driller, who are competitive racers on our tour, are competitive racers for the U.S. ski team in parallel. So it's cool that guys can go back and forth and do both.
Okay, well, I love that. It's super exciting. I'm fired up to see the women back going head to head. And before we move on any further, let's check out the profile we have, the profile video on Simon.
When I started last year, the first time at the Pro Tour, I mean, for me everything was totally new. I came in pretty good in this system. We had a very good training. It was super quiet, totally on focus, and we did a great job on training, on the preparation, and now I'm so happy to be back here at Hausen Hill, to be able to race thanks to the World Pro Ski Tour. I mean, it's a lot of fun, and yeah, that's racing, and all my life long I just wanted to be a ski racer on the highest level. And here at the Pro Tour, that offers this possibility with racing. There's nothing, no politics, nothing. It's just pure racing and a great motivation for me. Keep on going. I've been here now for a second time at Steamboat Springs. It's a great place, I have to say. It's this whole spirit from this cowboy city, the slope next to the city and the lights on for night skiing. It's always something great, and for me it feels pretty cool to be able to race here again and to feel this spirit. The race last night was, I have to say, before the race I was quite nervous. It was a long time before without racing, so you had to get this, to find this race mode, which is burning inside, and yeah, I ended up on 3rd place. Had some good battles against the boys. Last run with Thomas was pretty good, Bolivia versus Argentina, so it's always like the challenge, the game, and yeah, I've won some prize money yesterday, so now I'm free to go. I think tomorrow weather is good, slope looks better, definitely, and I think I'm free to go to send it.
Nothing like feeling the ching of a little winning in your pocket. So where did you end up going, Simone? Where did you go? Where did you take the money and go to?
Yeah, that's the biggest challenge, to make it from one race to the next, to travel. So that's why we are always looking for sponsors, I mean, finally success, it's in the hand of the sponsors. So if there's anybody out there who would like to help, to support, that would be great. That's, like I said, that's the most difficult challenge. Racing is the one part, but organizing and handling the financial situation, that's the biggest deal.
I love it. And yeah, well, keep on going, man. That's awesome. And I love the spirit of it. And I think that really represents to me what Pro Tour is. I love it that you just put down your money and you go head to head and let the cards fall where they may. You can get right on top. Tell me about the Olympics. You excited to head over to China?
Excited for it, yeah. I mean, it's a challenge. It's another challenge. A lot of traveling, and we need to look where we can get the training in, especially for Super G and downhill for the speed events. But I think we are on a good way with Kestle, with the ski company. They are doing an amazing job, and I'm sure we are ready to set for the Olympics.
How many events will you race in?
I'm qualified in all 5 disciplines. But at the moment, I'm focused on the speed events and giant slalom. Probably not the slalom because, like Jon said, what should you do with a number of 80 or 85 or 90 or whatever? Everything behind 30 makes no sense of the slope conditions. So I think in that point you have to be realistic and you need to decide what's really more important, just racing, just going down, risking body's health for maybe nothing, because realistically the system it's very made for the first start numbers.
I love that you don't think pointing it down the Olympic downhill is risky, but the slalom is. That's really great.
I mean, in downhill usually and Super G, the slope doesn't get that bad as in slalom.
Right.
And I always said, for me, it never made sense just to say, hey, I'm there at the Olympics. No, it's first point. It's the result, the performance, and not just to being there. So that made never sense for me.
I love it, dude. That's great. I love the competitiveness. Now, Jared, we're going to watch another video of yours. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so let me preface it with CEP is a very interesting company because we're owned by Medi, who's the world's largest and oldest medical compression company. So they're going on 70 years old, and we really started the whole compression product back then. And then CEP coming in quite a bit later is now 15 years old. And so instead of sourcing products, in the first video you saw, we do a lot of the engineering and manufacturing in-house in Germany, as well as in Whitsett, North Carolina, where we have a manufacturing facility. And so this is a tour of that facility in Bayreuth, Germany, by one of our sponsored athletes, Meb, who is a 2-time Olympian and then a Boston and New York City Marathon winner.
Oh, I love it. Let's take a look.
Hi, I'm Mev, 4-time Olympian, Boston and New York City Marathon champion. I've been wearing Cep compression socks for many years and many competitions. I'm here in Bayreuth, Germany, the headquarters, to see where all my favorite compression socks are made. Come, join me on the store. The production of Cep compression starts way before the kneading process. All yarns are tested multiple times before they find their way to the kneading machine. Once tested, the research and development department, the yarn for the Cep compression socks gets stocked here. In fact, there's 10 kilometers of yarn in each sock. This is the most important part of our tour, the journey from yarn to sock. Cep compression socks are already washed. They are ready to be worn upon arrival. This is where our journey ends today, but it's also the beginning for your Cep compression socks. Cep delivers product to more than 40 countries around the world. Well, I hope you enjoyed this fantastic tour and learned something new about Cep compression socks. Now it's up to you to get a pair and start running. See you on the roads.
Would be nearly impossible to keep up with him. I've watched him run the Boston Marathon. That's amazing. Jared, when I was, thinking about him and running and the marathons and all the different athletes that are benefiting, what sort of research are you doing with the athletes to show different benefits, or is it the same benefit in all sports?
So compression delivers kind of the same set of benefits, but depending on the sport, it has a bigger effect or not. So the key benefits of wearing a compression sock are increased blood flow. So we've had studies done where you can see up to a 30 to 40% increase in blood flow in the lower leg. And so what that does is delivers more oxygen to the muscles as they're working, helps to reduce swelling, helps to pull lactic acid out. And then in the ski world, helps make your toes warmer, because more warm blood from your core going down to your toes and then being returned more quickly means warmer feet with only a change of a sock. So in the run world, in the ski world, in the hiking world, all of those things, better boot fit, stronger legs, faster recovery, those are kind of universal positives.
Absolutely. And all things that all athletes need and need to be paying attention to. So we're at that part of the show now where we go round table. You can ask anybody on the panel any question you want. So you just kind of, pick out a question or pick out a person and ask them anything you'd like to ask. Tonight, we're going to open up with you, Phil. You got a question for anybody in the panel?
Absolutely. I do for Simone. You talked about sponsorship early in the video, and you talked about working with Kesley. Now, Kesley is obviously an iconic brand. The brand's been around for literally almost 100 years, but they had a resurrection back in the early 2000s in recreating that brand. Started off with their consumer line, but now they're expanding into racing. So, and again, you're one of the cornerstone athletes for them. So how much design and development are you doing with the brand to get their product out on the hill and to get it into the podiums?
Yeah, that's my third season on Kesley. I came to them, and I skied the first models of the men's skis. And the cooperation between me and the company, it's like athlete and company, with all the technicals. So all the feedback what they get from me, from my side, from the athletes. So they have to look how they can turn it into the new skis, into new models, or like to change the details. And Kesley, it's an amazing company. They're in ski racing for so many years, and they know exactly what they have to do. And it's not like they have to find some way. If I told them something, they already know what they have to do. And the quality of the skis, of the boots, the new boots, they are just amazing, and they're working. So that's all set for really the fastest ski runs.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And John, we're going to go over to you.
Well, I'm going to go to work here for Simone. And Jared, how does Simone go about getting a contract with you? I noticed that you're based in Germany, and he speaks fluent German, obviously, even though he's Austrian. And what's his next step so we can get you guys involved with the tour and with our top athletes?
Yeah, that's an easy one. So when we get done, we'll exchange emails, and we can start talking tomorrow.
Sounds good.
we got some training to do tomorrow, but we'll take some time out to look for money.
Seems like a good use of free time.
That's great, John. We'll give you two. You got another question for anybody? John, you have any other questions at all? You want to throw anything else out there?
Good for me now.
Yeah.
We're ready to go.
Sounds good. All right, Simone, you got any questions for anybody on the panel? Ask for a lot of money, dude.
Oh yeah, when I see the background from Phil, I see some Kesleys over there.
Yep.
What's the connection with you and Kesley?
Kesley is one of the sponsors that we've been working with for a number of years. Griffin Post has been advocate, and we're also working with Chris Davenport from when they launched this line in 2000 about 2006, 2007. When I was doing a lot of retail, we were actually a retailer of the year when the company first launched at a small little mom and pop store back in Pennsylvania, Wick Ski Shop. But my connection with Kesley is it's a brand that we really feel comfortable endorsing and getting out on. We test a lot of skis, about 150 skis a year. Kesley's in our rotational for that. And if you see, we got 4 different models here. And what we're seeing actually with Kesley is a new expansion of their lines. Again, we've known them for the FXs and the MXs, their core line for all mountain skis, mountain cross and free ride cross. But now they're actually expanding their collections, both in that race collection where Simone's working and the RX collection, which are becoming world-class skis, and also downward to the 2 skis that I have here, the black skis, which is the EX and the PX, which are 2 entry-level skis. So where Kesley used to be a brand that it was priced, a lot of people were priced out of the market for them. Now they have skis for every price point, anywhere from $449 all the way up to a full world-class race ski. So they're becoming a full line. And again, as Simone mentioned earlier, they're also working on boots, and we're going to see something there along for the future of them. Nothing official has been launched as far as in that aspect. They're starting with their, again, race on Sunday, sell on Monday philosophy there, and to get that product developed properly. So we're going to see probably that down the road. I'm not sure if they want me saying that, but some of that information is out there already. I'm just passing it along.
Very good. Very good. Jared, you're over to you, my friend.
I'm gonna go to Simone. So I grew up ski racing as well. I was one of thousands of kids that skied, USSA, all the way up through college, skied in college, was never good enough to go pro, obviously, because I'm here and you're there. What's your story? So, I have a couple young daughters that are just getting on skis, and if one day they say, I want to be a pro ski racer, what was your story from, getting started at a young age to where you are now?
I mean, that's a long story. I started skiing when I was 3. I've got my first caseless, and as long as I can remember, I said to my parents, I'm going to be a ski racer. I want to be a professional. And so there was never the point where I said like, oh, do I have to go to training, or do I have to do this? No, there was always like full focus, always forward. And yeah, then soon I started racing in Austria, children races and all the different categories. And when I get then to the point to race internationally, that was like a huge break from the Austrians. They didn't send me to races. Sometimes they sent me to some races far away where there were no points in. And at the age of 16, I decided almost to stop skiing. And that was the point where I moved over to Bolivia to visit the country. I knew that's a great country with many good things to see, and it's just beautiful. So when I ended up there, and there was like one point going to the next step by step, it was like at the first moment I couldn't realize what's going on. And I've got in contact with the Ski Federation, and many small things which made finally the skier who I am now.
That's amazing. That's a wild story. That's really cool. How old are your kids, Jared?
2 and 3. So the older one started last year, and this would be her second season. She turns 4 in like 10 days now. So she's a Christmas baby. But they have skiing in their blood. So my dad's a level 3 PSIA. So we have somebody on staff for training.
Well, good. We'll get them out there. We need the NASTAR. Get them going in NASTAR and rev them right up.
Yep.
That's great. And what college did you race for?
It was Central Michigan. So was if I'm gonna do the Michigan thing, right in the middle.
So did you race at Okemos? Go ski there?
No. So growing up, I raced it. So like Pine Knob, Holly, Brighton is our local hills, and then every weekend we go north to Nubs or Boyne.
I taught at both Brighton and Holly.
Yeah,
So
they're not much, but they pump out a lot of good skiers.
Yeah. Aspen Extreme story. Start out at Mount Brighton and end up in Aspen.
Beautiful. It was the movie that motivated it all, John.
Right.
Well, we're going to. That's awesome. A lot of great stuff happening. Of course, And so we got one more video to roll out here on the World Pro Ski Tour.
Red course ready. Yep. Blue course ready.
Two-time Olympic gold medalist Ted Ligety, 2019 Tour champion, World Championship silver medalist Phil Brown, 22-year-old sensation U.S. National Parallel champion Garrett Driller, and newly crowned 2020 World Pro Ski Tour champion Robert Cohn. The head-to-head World Pro Ski Tour brings the world's best dual professional ski racers to top ski resorts across the country. The Pro Tour is sensational ski racing for big prize purses and legacy trophies. On site in Taos, New Mexico, Vail, Colorado, Steamboat, Colorado, Sunday River, Maine, Waterville Valley, New Hampshire, and more. All the places you want to be. On course, it's the most explosive starts, the biggest jumps, edge-to-edge carving, and photo finishes down to 1/1000th of a second. It's thrills and spills as the racers give it everything they have to be the first across the line. Pro Tour action is live streamed to the internet, and if you miss it, quickly followed up with multiple runs on the CBS Sports Network. To dig deeper into the lives and drama on tour, check out the reality series Life in Between Gates that runs on Outside TV, NBC Regional Sports Networks, Amazon Prime, and syndicated to over 85 million homes per episode. Outside America, the tour can be watched via our global television partners. Ratings have quadrupled in the last 24 months, making strong, consistent numbers in an attractive and compelling package. World Pro Ski Tour Partner Opportunities runs in all varieties of media assets for live show, live stream, and television, live in-program branding, TV commercials, integrated vignettes, on-screen billboards, and more. Bespoke partner assets are integrated right into the live and on-site action, and partner promotions are strategically targeted to reach your desired consumers and demographics. Community integration with junior racing, corporate hospitality, and après-ski opportunities abound with world-class athletes at top resorts. Extensive social media action via live and well-placed YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram events featuring racer bios, multiple action clips, resort integration, and partner promotions. The tour reaches millions more each month. So if you've been searching for product integration and extensive promotion in a healthy and attractive winter sport featuring world and Olympic champions coming live from the top resort destinations on the planet, reaching a massive and rapidly growing audience of dedicated fans and followers, you've come to the right place. The exciting return of the World Pro Ski Tour is what you have been looking for.
And congratulations, Jon, for all that you're doing for ski racing. Just give us a little preview on what we're can expect at Granby this weekend.
Well, it should be a pretty exciting weekend. It's the first weekend we'll get to see how everyone's training went and how the season will start out. So as I mentioned, we've got multiple-time Olympians like Nolan Casper. We've got Olympians like Simone here. We've got Robert Cohn, who won 7 of the last 8 pro races, and we got Michael Ankeny, who won that one that Robert did not. So the competition is going to be fast and furious. Of course, as the CEO of the tour, my job is to make sure that our sponsors receive acknowledgement. So, my concluding words are, of course, to thank our sponsors like Tito's Handmade Vodka, DNA Vibe, of course, Rocket Mortgage, who joined us this year, Seiko doing our fastest start, Tough Shed, who's been with us from the beginning. We've got great footage of people tuning their skis in Tough Sheds. Joining us this year is Revo, and the areas that help us put these events on: Aspen, Granby, Taos, Steamboat. Without the participation and support of everyone involved in pro racing, we couldn't make the tour happen. So thank you to the athletes, our fans, our followers, and of course our sponsors.
Well, we're super, super happy, excited about another season. And of course, Phil, you're a big fan.
I am. I'm a huge fan. Jon invited us out to the Howelson event at Steamboat last year. And I'll tell you, it was such a great family event. I mean, if you've got some racers growing up in your family, bring them to these events. It's one of those things. You can go to an automobile race, and you never get invited into the pits. I mean, these guys here, they're all sitting around tuning their skis together, talking to each other, getting their stuff ready. You can ask them questions about what they're doing. And I saw the kids doing it, asking Simone, Garrett Driller, again, a great young man from the Tahoe area, and just talk to these kids and just getting them excited about racing. But to get to one of these events in person, it really gives you an idea of what the experience is and what these athletes are doing to get going for this sport. And we see these around the West. Love to see an event here in Tahoe. I know there was some talk at one point for that, but to get an event east also would be fantastic too, to spread it out.
That's our goal, is to take it across the country and around the world. Ultimately, pro races have happened over in Europe, and we want to get back there as COVID dissipates, and as we can travel more and make it easier for our racers to get over to Europe. We want to do that. We want to go down to South America, to Portillo, to Bolivia, anywhere we can run some races. We want to get there. It is the World Pro Ski Tour. We have world-class athletes. We have racers from all over the world. We have sponsors that like Seiko, that are international companies, and we want the tour to go international as well.
Absolutely. When I was a little boy, I was 12 years old when my brother was on the tour, and he was dressed up in his padded sweater and padded pants, and he said, "Dan, I'm going to work today." And that one line,
that's a tough job.
that changed my life. I never considered that you could make a living skiing, or at least try to make a living skiing. And so we appreciate it. Jared, thanks for your time tonight. Great to get caught up and learn more about Cep Compression products. And you've done it once again. You've sat through and wasted a complete over an hour with us here at SkiTalk. We're glad for it. We're happy about it. We're going to get back on our regular schedule Wednesdays coming, so look for that. We're going to maybe even promote it before we go live. Who knows? All craziness can happen here at SkiTalk. But good luck this weekend, Simone. Go out there and get your first win. We want to see the big money. We're going to come party with you when you do. Get the deal done with Jared. John, keep up all the good work. Phil, go ski powder. And we'll see you guys next time right here on SkiTalk.
Thank you so much, Dan. A pleasure as always.
Great to see
Thank
you,
you.
buddy.
Thank you so much.